I used to think you could feel the exact instant love dies, that would shatter your world like a thunderclap, sudden and undeniable. But the truth is, love doesn't always end that way. Sometimes it slips away quietly, piece by piece, until one ordinary moment convinces you it's truly gone. For me, that moment came on our anniversary. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of laughter, struggles, forgiveness, and stubborn survival, culminated in a night that broke me. Things between us weren't perfect. Missed dinners, arguments that ended with silence instead of resolution, apologies spoken without much conviction. But through it all, I believe we had built something that mattered. That's why I planned a weekend at the resort where I had proposed to her. It wasn't just nostalgia. It was hope. Hope that we could revive what had dimmed. The first night, a jazz band played under glowing string lights. Couples swayed beneath the stars, glasses raised, laughter drifting through the air. I asked her to dance. She smiled faintly and said her heels hurt, that she needed to sit. I didn't push. I brought drinks instead. And that's when I saw it. She was on the dance floor. Not with me, but with a stranger. An older man, self-assured, his hand steady on her waist. She was laughing, her body light and unburdened, her eyes shining in a way I hadn't seen in months. She never once looked my way. I stood frozen, holding her untouched drink, something tearing open in my chest that I didn't even have a name for. That night, I said nothing. No accusations, no confrontation. Just silence. Back in the room, I claimed a headache. She didn't question it. We slept with a gulf of cold space between us. By dawn, I was gone. I left a note. I can't do this anymore. Divorce followed quietly. Papers signed. Half-truths shared with friends. Questions deflected. It just stopped working. I told them. I never spoke of that night. Never admitted how one dance had hollowed me out. I moved across the state. New job, new apartment, new routine. I tried dating, convincing myself that leaving was strength. But in the quiet hours, I still saw her beneath those lights, laughing in another man's arms. 2 years passed. Then an email arrived. Simple. Can we talk? I stared at it for hours before replying. Maybe it was unfinished business. Maybe curiosity. Maybe some stubborn part of me that had never let go. We met at a cafe halfway between our cities. She looked older, weary, yet achingly familiar. We exchanged small talk until she suddenly said, "I know why you left. I just never had the courage to explain." My chest tightened. She pulled out her phone and showed me a picture. The man she had danced with. "That's my oncologist," she said softly. The ground vanished beneath me. She explained everything. How she had been diagnosed months before our anniversary. How she chose to keep it from me, not wanting pity or the role of the sick wife. How she slipped away to treatments, covering with excuses about work. That night, she had received the news. She was in remission. She was going to live. Her doctor happened to be at the resort, and he offered her a single dance under the stars. It wasn't romance. It was celebration. Gratitude. Life. I sat in stunned silence, my anger, bitterness, and assumptions crumbling. For 2 years, I had hated her for something that never existed. In reality, I had walked away when she needed me most. "I never blamed you," she whispered. I knew how it must have looked, but I had to carry both burdens, the illness and losing you. There was no reproach in her voice, only sadness. We didn't hug. We didn't cry. We just sat with the truth, heavy and unchanging. When she rose to leave, she paused. "I'm okay now," she said. "I just wanted you to know." Then she walked out of my life again. That night, I sat alone replaying everything. Every assumption, every silence, every choice. I realized how quickly love can dissolve into doubt, how dangerous it is to fill silence with fear instead of questions. I had loved her. I still did, in some hidden way, but I let one moment define everything. That mistake will haunt me forever. So, if you're hearing this now, if you're in a relationship where trust feels thin, where something seems off, don't assume. Ask. Don't judge before you listen. Because sometimes the truth is nothing like the story you invent. And sometimes the real betrayal isn't what they did. It's that we refuse to understand.